Hi there, good afternoon everybody. Welcome to the 4 to 5. Eric Chilton here with Lauren Coleman, Stacy Spivey, and Monique Robinson.
Welcome and happy Monday. You're watching the 4 to 5, whether it's online, Roku, Fire Stick, or the WFNY News 2 app. We want to start with some big news today. Colin Powell, the first black chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, died at 84 years old due to COVID-19 complications. Powell was a veteran of the Vietnam War and eventually became a 4-star general as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Powell oversaw the U.S. invasion of Panama and later the U.S. invasion of Kuwait to oust the Iraqi army in 1991. In 2003, his reputation took a hit when he went before the UN Security Council as Secretary of State and made the case for the U.S. war against Iraq. Powell's family says he was fully vaccinated against COVID. A longtime aide also confirmed Powell had multiple myeloma. It's a type of blood cancer that hurts the body's chances of fighting infections. Patients with melanoma are considered at higher risk of COVID.
Now, the loss of Powell is a great loss to the nation. Many recognize Powell's accomplishments online. Governor Roy Cooper tweeted, "Secretary Colin Powell led with integrity and honor. We're grateful for his service to our country and our prayers are with his loved ones." Senator Jeff Jackson writes, "Absolutely terrible news about Powell. He was a person of impeccable character and a model of civility and leadership." He also gave us one of my favorite quotes about military leadership. Perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. COVID's wrath continues. Viewers on our Facebook page also honored him. Joe says, "A man of honor and integrity, well-respected American hero. Our country is at a loss of his passing. May his family find comfort." Mari added, "Great American," and Gail called him a great man. Coming up at 4:30, 2 Wants to Know's Tanya Rivera is going to explain to us whether Powell will lie in state and who makes that decision.
Former President Bill Clinton is out of the hospital and back at home this morning. He was admitted last week for a non-COVID related infection and was treated with antibiotics for several days. Doctor says Sunday he had no longer had a fever and his white blood cell count was stable, so they discharged him so he can continue recovering at home. Winston-Salem police are still searching for a shooter who fired a gun at a youth football game Saturday night.
Parents and athletes were at Ray Agnew Jr. football field on Waterworks Road waiting for the game to start when a fight broke out. Witnesses tell WFNY News 2 someone was hit with a stick just before a group started chasing someone down the field. Shortly after, someone yelled about a gun and shots were fired. Officers responded to the field around 5. They found the suspect's car, but the driver started moving in reverse, intentionally hit a patrol car and sped off. The suspect then jumped from their car and ran away. If you have any information, you can anonymously report the crime to Crime Stoppers by calling 336-727-2800.
Wake Forest University issued a safety warning after police received several reports about drinks being spiked. University police received 3 reports this semester claiming that a student was given a drink that had been drugged. The most recent report happened this weekend. It is illegal to put a drug in another person's drink, and it's against the university's student code of conduct. The school offers some suggestions for students, including know what you're drinking, never leave a drink unattended, don't take a drink from someone you don't know or trust, beware of any signs like drowsiness or difficulty moving your body. These signs show someone has been drugged.
UNCG police offering a rape aggression defense class for students and faculty. There are 3 programs anyone on campus can take. The Sexual Assault Awareness and Violence Education program is offered to both men and women and is 1 to 2 hours long. Participants will learn risk reduction strategies, awareness information, bystander intervention, and how to report an incident. To sign up for a class, visit UNCG's Police Department's section on the website. Classes are from 5 to 9 p.m.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. Guilford County Schools is in need of tutors across all grades for all subjects. GCS's tutoring department will host virtual information sessions for anyone interested. Those sessions are from noon to 1 on the 26th of this month and then from 6 to 7 p.m. on the 28th. If you'd like to learn more, visit the school's website. Attendance for the first 3 days of the North Carolina State Fair was down compared to recent years. Fair officials say about 70,000 fewer people attended the opening weekend compared to in 2019. Opening day attendance saw more than 27,000 people across the fair gates. That's the lowest opening day attendance since 1994. Saturday was a little better with nearly 84,000 visitors. The fair is going on through Sunday. Governor Roy Cooper was in High Point this morning visiting the fall furniture market. The governor toured the 200 Steel building, then gave brief remarks in the Century Furniture showroom. Governor Cooper said the furniture market always provides a major economic boost to the city and High Point and the state. He also addressed the labor shortage and what can be done to ease that pressure moving forward.
I think it's up to us as a state to make sure we help provide the training, the education that we need in advanced manufacturing to fill these positions. One of the things that I was talking to Alex about is that we're doing more to get into our middle schools and early and high schools to let students learn the amazing opportunities that they have out there. Advanced manufacturing is not the manufacturing of the days of old.
Governor Cooper said the furniture industry contributes 33,000 manufacturing jobs in North Carolina. Happy 75th birthday to Sandra Hughes. The legendary News 2 anchor is known for her induction into the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame. She worked with News 2 for nearly 40 years. During her time here, she earned the coveted Edward R. Murrow Award for reporting, and then in 2002, she was honored with the North Carolina Governor's Order of the Longleaf Pine, which is the state's top civilian honor. Quite a list of achievements, and we want to wish you a very happy birthday, Sandra. Now, I've never met her before, but in person, but my first week here, I was in a meeting with our general manager, Larry, and he called her, put her on speakerphone, and she was just so nice and encouraging. And she asked me, she said, do you have a family here? Do you have a family of your own here? And I said, no, ma'am. And she said, well, consider yourself adopted by Greensboro. She was just so sweet.
It's true. Have you met her? I can't remember.
I haven't either.
Oh,
and I've always
you.
heard so many wonderful things about her. I've always wanted to meet her. Of course, right when I got here is kind of when things started to go into turmoil with the pandemic and everything. So I just really haven't had the opportunity to meet a lot of people, but happy birthday.
Yes,
I'm so excited
she's
for you.
Wonderful. I mean, I can't say enough about her. We chat regularly, and she started, this is funny because I grew up watching her. And so I remember those images we just saw of her back in the day. That was her talk show she had called Sandra and Friends, and she would have celebrities that were in town would come into the studio, and they'd have an in-studio audience, and it was amazing. She's something else.
How was it growing up watching someone like her of her magnitude and then being able to sit right alongside her? What was that feeling like?
So it was a little awe-inspiring. When I remember my first day here, I go into our general manager's office, and she was there, and I just remember looking at her going, oh my gosh, like I watched her. She started when I was in first grade.
Wow.
So I literally grew up watching her, and that was cool. I've done that with two legends really in this market, one at another station and one with Sandra here, and it was it really makes you proud. I am proud to say that I got to anchor with her.
Absolutely.
I mean,
beautiful.
people, when they think of News 2, they think of her.
Absolutely.
I feel like they always, correlate. So
it's always Sandra and Lee Kyman.
She's paved the way for so many of us here that are on the airwaves now. So happy birthday, Sandra.
All right, let's check in with our forecast. Monique has that for us. How's it looking?
I also want to say happy birthday to Sandra Hughes. I sent her a text message earlier saying happy birthday. I've spoken with her multiple times, a very vibrant woman. I've yet to meet her in person, but we've had plenty of conversations. So I also want to say another happy birthday to you, Miss Sandra Hughes. Often she watches our newscast. 70 degrees right now in Greensboro. Plenty of clear skies out there. Barely even a cloud in sight. The temperature is feeling good right now. I mean, I'm standing in the heart of it and I have no complaints in the weather garden. 70 degrees right now is where we're sitting in Greensboro. 70 when we look over towards Burlington, a mix of 70s, even some upper 60s on there. The dew points, though, this is why it feels good outside. We're not dealing with that oppressive stickiness we often feel in the summertime, and in fact, what we felt just a couple of weeks ago. These dew points reading in the 30s and even 40s, some locations 20s, describing the very bone dry air. Now, even earlier today, Some locations had temperatures right around these numbers. That's why some places saw frost, especially if you were in the foothills or western North Carolina. Winds coming right now out of the north and west, kind of pushing in that cooler, drier air into the mix. Now, as we go throughout the course of this week, we will get slight warm up, but not jumping back to any summer-like feels. I'll have more details on it all coming up.
Well, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Well, not really. Christmas, as you know, is 68 days away, and folks are already shopping for holiday gifts due to shipping and supply chain issues. The BBB wants to make sure the Grinch doesn't steal your Christmas through online shopping scams. The organization says online purchase scams account for more than a third of all scam reports filed to the BBB. 4 out of 5 consumers who report such scams lose money. Experts predict this year's scammers will take advantage of supply chain concerns by capitalizing on what people are looking for online and focusing on the most sought-after gifts such as electronics, toys, and other trendy gift items.
I think that scammers may be targeting all kinds of products, and they're going to reach out to us in various different ways. I mean, they're reaching out to us on social media with all kinds of ads, but they're also out there where we're looking all on our own to try to find goods and services and targeting us that way as well.
The BBB Scam Tracker Risk Report found that 64% of people who were searching for a product when they lost money to an online purchase scam, while 36% of those who lost money were passively looking or not searching at all. As big chain retail stores start to release early Black Friday deals, Yates says consumers need to be extra cautious.
That's going to open the door even more for scammers because it's going to make it even harder for us to know what's a real sale and what's not. So you really are going to have to put on your thinking hat when you get ready to buy something and just really be aware and think, is it a scammer on the other end of that ad? Is it a real product? Is it a real site? Am I really going to get what I'm ordering? And always think no and pay with a credit card.
Yates says there are several ways to protect yourself as you online shop. She says look for contact information on a website and take it a step further by Googling the address to make sure it's real. Also, try to look for refund and return policy information. Keep an eye out for BBB accreditation. So this means a business pledge should be honest and is transparent with customers. Plus, you can file a complaint with the BBB if you do have an issue. Lastly, look for simple language and spelling on the site, and always look for positive reviews.
One of Walmart's Black Friday deals started today. This year's Black Friday deals are meant to stretch across 3 different shopping periods to give customers more convenience. There will be 3 shopping days throughout November, but this year Walmart is offering Walmart Plus subscribers early access to deals. Starting tonight at 8:15, you can buy an air fryer, TCL TV, and 442-piece Lego set at Black Friday prices. The other Black Friday shopping event is November 3rd and the 10th, and there is one final shopping day, but the dates and deals have yet to be released. Now, I've not bought any Christmas gifts yet, but I did start working on my list this weekend. So now I actually know what I'm going to get everyone, because all of these people are saying you need to get your gifts now because of all the shipping delays. There's lots of delays going on everywhere, so get it done.
Doesn't she just look so responsible?
Yes,
because
yes.
I just put on a
like
front.
We've been talking about this for weeks, and I still feel like, don't follow my lead, but I still feel like I'm gonna be that person the day before trying to find whatever is on the shelf.
Well, just because I've made the list doesn't mean that I'm going to actually buy the things on time.
That's true.
I'm telling myself.
You got to organize, but you got to act on it, right?
Yep.
I'd never heard of Walmart Plus until this morning.
Me
when
too,
We had that
when we-
meeting, and
we
I
were
was
talking
thinking,
about it.
I didn't even know that. I mean, it makes sense because I know like all the big, retailers, Amazon Prime and all that, they do the same kind of thing. But to have the jump, what is it, 3 days ahead of time or something like that? I think you can get some of those deals before everybody else has access. If you're a member of that, that's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, starting tonight at 8:15, if you're a Walmart Plus subscriber, you can get some deals.
Yeah, and at first I was thinking this seems too early to be talking about these kind of deals, but if you think about it, we're only about a month out of like near Thanksgiving, Black
That's
Friday
crazy.
time, so it's not that early, I guess.
When I think about it, so we're 2 months and a week, I guess, from Christmas. So.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Get to shopping.
I can't think about
Be like
that.
Stacy, create a list and
Yes.
actually shop now.
Make a list, check
don't
it
be
twice.
like me and Lauren. Do not do that.
We will get you in trouble.
You know, there's nothing like a hot bowl of chicken stew on that cool fall day. So good. The folks at Mountain Valley Hospice are banking on all of us wanting that with their latest fundraiser. I spoke with Sarah Tavery about the event and how it all came about.
Our CEO, Tracy Dobson, came up with that idea because chicken stew is such a comfort food, and we are all about providing comfort. I mean, that's what hospice care is all about. And certainly fall is the season for chicken stew, and we know that it's really popular in this area. So this event is going to be a drive-through event. It's going to be held at the Woltz Hospice Home in Dobson. And so for $10, you get a quart of chicken stew, and along with that, you get some crackers and individually wrapped dessert. And what's really exciting is you get a free ticket for the drawing of an iPad. We're giving away 3 brand new iPads.
Of course, it's about the great food, but Sarah says the money raised is much needed.
Those are going to be applied to the operations of the Woltz Hospice Home, but also to our charitable care program. So we have a charitable care program, and this is for patients who are uninsured or underinsured, and they don't have the ability to pay for their hospice care. And so we believe it's a strong part of our mission is that anybody and everybody who qualifies for and wants hospice care has the ability to get that. We don't turn away anybody due to inability to pay.
So I will tell you, for those of you that have had experience with hospice, like I had when my father passed away, they were there throughout the whole thing. Invaluable. I've always said I'll do anything and everything to help hospice because I can't tell you how comforting it is from a family standpoint when you're going through something like that to have because they're nurses and they know what's going on and they know what to expect, and they were with us through every step. So it's a great organization, and that is a quick little, I think I annoyed her because I kept, you know what I was saying in the meeting, I kept going, it's a chicken stew drive-through. I just let rhyme, but it's really cool, and you can zip through there, get the stuff, help somebody out, and have a chance to win an iPad.
What is chicken stew? Is it like chicken noodle soup, or I was trying to Google what it looked like.
I asked the same thing earlier. Yeah,
it is kind of a regional thing. I didn't realize it was a big deal here because my mom didn't make it as much, but my friends' moms did. But it's like shredded chicken, and it is like a chicken noodle soup. And everybody has their own spin on it, right? But there's like veggies and potatoes, and some people do some pasta with it. But it's just like a hearty stew that's mostly chicken broth and chicken meat.
What's also interesting about this, like, that sounds so comforting.
It is.
And with a situation like this, people need that comfort. So I wonder if that's why they chose
It is.
chicken
That's
stew.
the tie-in. She said it's comfort food, and that's what they're all about, is comforting families.
Nice.
So
Yeah, it's so important that those families have, that they have those outlets for them, and that this organization's doing this, knowing my grandparents, when they were in hospice, those people just love on you and take care of you the whole time you're there. They feed you too. So this is great, and I'm gonna have to try chicken stew.
Yeah,
it's a perfect week for it.
It is. I mean, when we're cold like we have been, especially in the early mornings, that is awesome. And I eat lunch food for breakfast, so.
He does.
Yes, I know.
Tacos for breakfast.
When I used to work the Good Morning Show, Tracy and Megan would look at me like, what are you eating? I'd be eating like pasta and linguine for breakfast.
I could never get into that when I was on a morning show, eating like dinner foods for breakfast.
But I've always done that.
I just couldn't do it.
I could when I was on the morning show. Now, probably not.
It's because when you're tired, you're hungry, and I was always tired, so I was ready to eat all the time. Of course, I am all the time. We'll be right back.
Actress Betty Lynn, who entertained families as Thelma Lou on The Andy Griffith Show, died over the weekend. Her career started in the movie Cheaper by the Dozen in the 1950s. She then joined The Andy Griffith Show in 1961, where her beloved following began. She eventually made Mount Airy her home and spent some of her final years visiting with fans at the Andy Griffith Museum. Betty Lynn was 95 years old, and fans have taken to social media to honor her life. Ron Howard tweeted, "R.I.P. Betty Lynn." She played Thelma Lou on #tags, the Andy Griffith Show, and brightened every scene she was in and every shooting day she was on set. I saw her last a few years ago, where she still lit up the room with her positivity. It was great to have known her and worked with her. She truly was 95 years young. Tara Toburn Melton says, "We all love Thelma Lou." Paulette Kernodle wrote, "So sorry to hear of Betty Lynn's passing. Just seen her in the Mayberry Parade, September 25th of 2021. It will be sad to not see her in the Mayberry Days Parade anymore." Sandy Jarvis says, "Thank you for the clean entertainment. R.I.P."
She's a sweetheart. I met her many times for interviews and things that I've done regarding the Andy Griffith Show in Mount Airy. She actually lived in the same assisted living facility that my mother lived in. But she did move back, and when I asked her once, I said, why did you come back? And she goes, "Well, I just knew this town would love me. Like they would take care of me." And they did. Like the whole town adopted her. She was like everybody's grandmother. They just loved her to death. And I had done a few interviews with her, and it got to the point where if I did see her when I was in Mount Airy visiting family, she would say, "There's my boy," like that. Every time I would come in, she's such a sweet lady. So she will be missed greatly.
Absolutely.
I saw that this story was trending, not just on our website, but websites across the nation. This really had an impact on a lot of people, I guess, and a lot of people are going to miss her. It's really sad to see.
It made me think about everybody in that show and who is still with us and who isn't. And I'm going to have to go look that up. I know, obviously, Andy Griffith and Don Knotts are gone, and Floyd the barber, Howard McNair's gone. So it's and now Betty Lynn. So I'm thinking Ron Howard, maybe one more, and that's about it. The show's been off the air a long time.
It would be a good idea to maybe try to catch up with them and just see what it's been like working with these individuals and just what this area has meant for the show and for the world. Like you said, people have been talking about it all day. I got all the push alerts about it, and I did not realize that she moved back so recently, like 2007.
2007. I have to tell you a quick
pretty
funny
awesome.
story. The actor George Lindsay that played Goober, one time he was at the Lexington Barbecue Festival, and I talked to him. I said, "Do you ever have, a lot of actors hate to get typecast into one role?" I said, "Do you have any regrets doing the Andy Griffith Show?" He goes, "Absolutely not." He goes, "Well, one." And I said, "What?" He goes, "That I wasn't nicer to that little redheaded boy." Because Ron Howard ended up being such a big deal later on.
Blowing up.
That was funny. All right, we'll take a short break, and we're coming right back. Stay there.
All right, I am talking about body language of jurors. If you know what to look for and what it's going to happen. Okay.
Okay, Blanca is in this A block too. Or E block.
The E block, yep.
E block, yeah. Good afternoon, I'm on Colin.
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever
Good afternoon and welcome back. I'm Lauren Coleman here with Eric Chilton and Stacey Spivey.
Yeah, welcome everyone. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Thanks for watching us on here on WFMY News 2. You can also watch us on Fire Stick, Roku, the News 2 app, for your TV, your phone, your tablet. I could just go on and on. So many different options for you to watch us. And we have a lot of news and weather to get to, but let's go ahead and get to the top story of the day. Colin Powell, the first black chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, has died at 84 years old due to COVID complications. Powell was a veteran of the Vietnam War and eventually became a 4-star general. As chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Powell oversaw the U.S. invasion of Panama and later the U.S. invasion of Kuwait to oust the Iraqi army in 1991. In 2003, his reputation took a hit when he went before the UN Security Council as Secretary of State and made the case for U.S. war against Iraq. Powell's family says he was fully vaccinated against COVID-19. A longtime aide also confirmed Powell had multiple myeloma, a type of blood cancer that hurts the body's chances of fighting off infections. Patients with multiple myeloma are considered at a higher risk for COVID.
North Carolina Chancellor Harold Martin Sr. shared a statement regarding Powell's recent passing. The chancellor wrote, "Colin Powell was not only an outstanding leader of the highest order, he was an incredible example to young people across a nation, a trailblazer in the roles of Secretary of State and National Security Advisor." Wake Forest University honored General Powell's life as well. Powell was the university's 2004 commencement speaker. Wake Forest University officials said in his first commencement address as U.S. Secretary of State, Powell interspersed national policy with advice for Wake Forest's 1,597 graduates. Powell said the impulse to do the right thing should apply to both individuals and nations. General Powell also delivered the commencement address at High Point University's 2014 ceremony. General Powell had a friendship with HPU President Dr. Nido Quo Bain. He said of his friend, his service and dedication to our country reflected the values we celebrate at High Point University. His influence on me and his impact on our institution have been significant and lasting. I will miss my work with him on our National Board of Advisors and beyond. We continue our coverage with 2 Wants to Know, Tanya Rivera. And Tanya, I know it takes some time to figure out all the arrangements, but will Colin Powell lie in state?
Well, the short answer is he can if the family wishes that to happen. So let me explain a little bit. The architect of the Capitol defines lying in state as reserved for those who are government officials and military officers. Powell was a 4-star general. So in our history, this tribute has been given to 12 presidents from Abraham Lincoln all the way to George H.W. Bush. It's also gone to members of Congress, military commanders, other notable figures such as Ruth Bader Ginsburg. 3 unknown soldiers have also received the tribute to honor those lost in 3 American wars. So this was really interesting to me, guys. For presidents and former presidents, the honor, it's automatic. Okay. But not all those entitled to the honor have it accepted by their families. The family have the right to say, yes, they want that, or no, that they don't want that.
I think that's interesting. I mean, to me, there's some families that say, you know what, this is very personal, and we'd rather keep that, you know, and not let them be, you know, it's not like they're put on display for goodness sake. You know what I mean? It's a place for people to come and kind of honor them. So I understand letting the family have that option, but sometimes I'm surprised if someone were to say no.
Absolutely, you know? Especially someone like Colin Powell, that was such a high figure that so many people held in high esteem.
And you would think that he probably had that conversation with his family, or many people probably did before they passed away, saying, you know, this is what I would like, and probably I would assume he would had that conversation with his family, letting them know what he would like.
Right, but it's interesting because, you know, there's so many people that could have lied in state. Or lie in state, years and years and years, all of these decades, and not everyone did. The first woman in history to lie in state was?
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah, you know it. Okay, this is good. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg was the first woman in history to receive that honor, lying in state for those who served our country or were in office. And so that was very recent when you think of that she was the first woman. Let that sink in. All right, in the meantime, lying in honor is reserved for private citizens. The most recent Capitol police officer, was the 5th person to receive this honor. Before him, you'll of course recognize Billy Graham, civil rights icon Rosa Parks, 2 other Capitol police officers also who were killed in the line of duty back in '98 when a gunman opened fire at the Capitol.
The state is reporting a very encouraging number of new coronavirus cases, just shy of 1,600 new cases in the past 24 hours. You can see this is the lowest number on this 7-week graph. We haven't seen a number this low actually since July 26th, nearly 3 months ago. Keep in mind, Monday's numbers tend to be the lowest of the week since there isn't as much testing done over the weekend, but it's still good to see a new low. And we've come a long way since that one day back in early September when we topped 11,000 cases.
Jury selection is underway in a Georgia courtroom in the murder trial of 3 men accused of killing Ahmaud Arbery. Arbery was a 25-year-old black man running through a neighborhood in February of last year when the accused men chased him in their trucks. He was shot to death during the altercation. Cell phone video of the confrontation leaked, and nationwide protests demanded justice. Gregory and Travis McMichael told investigators they thought Arbery was a burglar. The 3 defendants claimed they were justified in chasing him because they thought he was committing a crime. Jury selection could take as long as 2 weeks because 1,000 people were summoned. Today, Blanca Cobb, who has a master's in psychology, joins us to talk about how someone could read the body language of a juror to better understand their thoughts during this trial. So Blanca, is reading jury body language, is that a straightforward process?
No, it isn't a straightforward process. And the reason it isn't because jurors know that this is high stakes when they're taking in testimony and listening and seeing to all of the evidence. A lot of them will try to hide what they're feeling or have a poker face. Now, if you know what body language to look for and when you might see changes in body language, that's going to put you ahead of the game in terms of reading a juror's body language.
That's very interesting. So what should you keep in mind when reading jury body language?
When there's going to be body language differences, there's going to be a cause. Something is going to cause that change. For example, it could be a question, topic, testimony, maybe witnesses' reactions, maybe something that one of the attorneys say. Maybe it could be reactions from the jury themselves or the defendants. All of that can cause some type of body language change for any juror. Remember this, body language is emotional. So body language changes that you're seeing are revealing how someone is feeling in the moment.
So what are a few body language signs to look for in the jury?
A lot of times you want to look for body language signs of distress. This is where they have facial flinches, or they might look down or look away. Sometimes they might just rub their eye or their chin. All of this is just some tension of what they're feeling. And depending on what they're hearing or seeing, you might see faces of disgust or surprise, or even some confusion right here in between the eyebrows. And watch for hands. And the reason you want to watch for hands, because a lot of times when you're feeling stress, your body wants to find a way to release that stress. So you might see a juror rub their arm or play with their shirt, all in the hopes of releasing that tension. Also, the flip side is they can become very still and they won't move a lot, but yet they can lean in as they're watching and paying attention.
All right, thank you so much, Blanca. Very helpful information. This is a case we will be following very, very closely. And if you miss any of this, we're going to put it on our website, WFNYnews2.com.
Well, if you enjoy the weather today, I'm not expecting for it to change for the next several days as long as high pressure remains settled across our area. Now, as we approach the midweek, this high pressure shifts a little bit eastward and southward and kind of changes what way the wind direction comes into our area. And that will help to warm us up just slightly as we approach that Wednesday, Thursday time frame. But you can see for tonight, definitely not a concern as those numbers fall back down again to some 40s, even the foothills back into some upper 30s. And then as we look for the day tomorrow, we're going to be very similar to today with some low 70s across the board with plenty of sunshine, keeping things completely dry. Here's a look at that 7-day, putting it all into perspective for you. Your Wednesday and Thursday, slightly warmer, but then we jump back down to cooler temperatures as we go into the start of next week. It looks as though fall is going to be sticking around for quite a while.
The University of Tennessee has been fined $250,000 among other penalties after spectators threw trash onto the field during Saturday's game against Ole Miss. With just 54 seconds left in the game, the competition was delayed for roughly 20 minutes as fans threw trash on the field. Tennessee's cheerleaders and band members actually had to leave the field. Approximately 18 people were arrested and 47 people were ejected from the game. Officials will conduct a review of the athletics department, game management procedures, and an evaluation of SEC policies on sportsmanship. The university is investigating. Anyone involved in the game's interruption will be banned from all Tennessee athletic events for the rest of the year. Okay, so my husband's side of the family, huge Tennessee fan, so of course I was watching this and I fell asleep at halftime. When I woke up the next morning, my husband was like, "You missed the madness."
Wow.
And he just told me about everything that happened, from someone threw a golf ball at Ole Miss's head coach, and there was apparently a whole bottle of mustard on the field. I mean, where did all this stuff come from?
Who has a bottle of mustard? just
Exactly.
sitting
Who
around?
brought that to a game? But two, why? Like, I mean, I know they're upset because Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss's head coach, used to coach at Tennessee, kind of left on bad terms, but I mean, come on.
It's unacceptable. You know, it's just a game. It's one thing to chant and have little like sayings, but to get violent like that, a golf ball, you could kill somebody with that. And it should never go that far. And it's truly kind of embarrassing. You know, everybody, the whole world is looking at you like, what are you doing?
They're like,
and
Tennessee.
I feel like it's almost like, and I'm not saying this just about Tennessee. I'm saying this about people. It's a mob mentality. When someone, and you know, there's alcohol involved. Let's be honest, in the stands. And so when one of them, I'll bet somebody chucks something, everybody starts jumping in.
They don't even know what they're doing. They're just going with the crowd of the motion.
That's exactly right.
I mean, they were even hitting the cheerleaders, goodness gracious, on their own team.
We'll watch. I'm sure there's more coming up. We'll be right back.
Walking into the university galleries on North Carolina A&T State University's campus, you'll find this new exhibit called Made Especially for You. There's a little bit of North Carolina history woven into each of these dresses. The artist behind the beauty, Willie K. The The Raleigh native was born during the Jim Crow era, but that couldn't keep her talent hidden. She followed in her mother and grandmother's footsteps, becoming a seamstress to support her 5 children after her husband sadly passed away. The Shaw University graduate dressed women of all colors, including many first ladies of North Carolina. And get this, she didn't even use patterns. That's how good she was at her craft. One of her gowns graced the cover of Life magazine, and just a couple of years ago, one of her designs was actually found at a consignment shop in Paris.
She was, beyond her time in many cases. Today, she would be known as an international fashion designer. But because of Jim Crow, she was relegated to, being a dressmaker and a seamstress.
Kay also has ties to Aggie Pride. 2 of her children and her grandchildren graduated from A&T, and her great-great-grandson will be on campus next month for his freshman tour. Director of University Galleries, Paul Baker, says a lot can be learned from her life and legacy.
She was faced with so many obstacles, but she was able to overcome those, become a successful businesswoman, become an entrepreneur because she had that steady guide. She was inspired by her mother, her grandmother, her sisters. So all of that really enveloped into becoming a huge success for her.
This exhibition will be on display until the first week of December, and it's free to check out. We have all the information about days and times that you can find on our website. We'll be right back.
I would guarantee most of you have heard of a Pancake Day event across the state, really anywhere, just to raise money for a good cause. But this one I'm about to talk about is the granddaddy of them all, has to be. The Asheboro Kiwanis Pancake Day is in its 73rd year. Hard to believe. I spoke with Eddie Burks of the Asheboro Kiwanis about the history of this event.
The Kiwanis Club of Asheboro has sponsored this thing since its inception, and we can't do it without other members of the community pitching in. So we have Rotarians helping us. We have all the youth activities that we sponsor as Kiwanis Club. A lot of these kids come out and they help us, whether it's the Partnership for Children or the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Boys Club, Girls Club, American Legion Baseball. All these folks come out and help us pull off this event, because on a typical year, we will have between 5,000 and maybe even 6,000 people that we will serve.
Now, this is a highly anticipated event, not only for Asheboro, but really all of Randolph County. Burke said that the money raised, it really helps kids from all over.
We raised roughly $25,000 a year after all our expenses. And the Kiwanis Club, what we do is we give all this money back to charities in our community, because Kiwanis is about serving the children of the world, one community and one child at a time. And we take care of our own children here, as well as children around the world with different activities that we do there.
So I asked you on Facebook, just tell me what your favorite breakfast dish is. And people went off here. Dana says grits with a fried egg and bacon. That doesn't sound too bad. MD Moore, a frequent commenter here. Egg and cheese omelet, pancakes with sugar-free syrup and butter. He said tastes better at the beach. I can agree with that. Curtis said gravy biscuits. They're awesome, period. And when I posted this, I had about 25 comments in the first 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
People jump. I don't know what it's up to now.
People love breakfast.
Yes, but a lot of gravy, biscuits, and omelets were in there. I am a huge omelet fan.
Okay.
Love it.
Waffles.
Waffles?
Waffles are superior to everything. I put that in the chat. I don't know why. I love waffles. And then Lauren and I were talking about it, breakfast for dinner.
Breakfast for dinner,
Oh, I
which I'm
love that
doing
too.
tonight,
Yeah. Oh, you
which I
are?
do often. Yes, I'm going to make some sausage in the air fryer,
Yum.
scramble some eggs and some spinach. But when I want something sweet, I love French toast. I'm a French toast girl over pancakes and waffles
Really?
any day.
So there are a lot of good places here in the Triad to get some good French toast. And
Another thing to add to this
Yes.
long
I've given up on your
scroll.
list. We're going to take you around the Triad. All right, let's see what's going on. Monique might have a favorite breakfast food there. Let's see what that is.
Yes, I'm down with the French toast. So Stacy, can you please give me some recommendations? Dry next several days, rain chances possible on Friday, just a very small rain chance on Friday, but also that full moon. If you've been paying attention to the sky lately, that moon is looking a little bit more and more round, and a full moon is expected to peak on Wednesday. And the last week of October next week, expecting to include some chilly feels. Like I said, that harvest moon expected to peak Wednesday morning. Here's a look at that holiday countdown as well. 13 more days until Halloween. And here's one last look at your 7-day for this 4 p.m. hour.
But I do want to try scramble 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
it is by far.
Good. Hi, French toast, better than pancakes, better than waffles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The pancake at scrambled is as big as a tire. 1, 2, 3.
That French toast, might check Jalen. French toast from the table. It's got this orange cream, whew, like almonds.
Can we wait until
It is
Baylor's
fire.
Hi there, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina.
So it's time for my 2 cents, and today I'm talking about something in the Chilton household. And that something would be my wife's obsession with things that have words printed on them or sayings printed on them. I brought this up to her recently, and she said, I don't, and she started looking around, spotting this, spotting that. So today I'm just going to talk about pillows. Now, she does have some really cool looking dish towels with funny sayings on them, cracks me up. But the pillow thing was starting to become a thing. Take a look at some of these. So, not that they're bad looking, right? I get it. They're cute. I'm only showing you the ones from this season. There is a completely different set, which I didn't even get pictures of, but we have that for summertime, and there is another set for Christmas time. And so I started pointing this out to her, and she had a sheepish grin on her face and went, yeah, I guess I do kind of have a thing. Some of what you didn't see is what's outside on the patio. The back porch, we have a little couch and 2 chairs out there, kind of an outdoor living space. Words all over those pillows too. And I thought to myself, how many more can we actually get? And gentlemen, I'm going to give you a piece of advice right now. Don't ever ask yourself or her, how many more could we get? Because we know what the answer is. They make others. Don't bring it up again. This is the last time we will speak of this, my friends. That's just my 2 cents. And that's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
Will your Christmas gifts arrive on time? It's unclear because of a truck driver shortage. A one-tried woman is getting more drivers on the road.
Plus, Governor Roy Cooper spends the morning in High Point for the Fall's Furniture Market, why he says High Point is the best city in the world for furniture.
But first, people across the world are remembering the life and legacy of former Secretary of State General Colin Powell. The 84-year-old